everyone, my name's Jenna Hope. I'm a registered nutritionist and mum myself, and I'm really excited to welcome you back to another video. And in this video, we are going to be talking about some of the common signs that shows that your baby is ready to wean. Now, when it comes to weaning or moving them onto solid foods, there can be a lot of conversation around it, and some of it can be quite confusing. So today we're going to talk on the major points that you need to be aware of and that you need to see in your baby before you start giving them food. The first thing that's important to mention though is that weaning is traditionally recommended at around 6 months of age, but people generally wean anytime between 4 months and 6 months. And there are reasons for weaning earlier. So some of the reasons that you might wean earlier are if your baby is not gaining weight, or if they have already shown allergies to the milk that you've been giving them and you found it quite difficult with the feeding. Alternatively, if there are allergies in your family as well, then that can also be a common reason to start weaning earlier. If all of that is not relevant in your situation, then really trying to wean at around 6 months is where we want to aim for. So some of the signs that you want to be aware of when it comes to weaning your baby. Firstly, can they sit up and hold themselves up for a prolonged duration of time? If they're sort of sitting up and they're falling backwards, that's not good enough for weaning. That can be quite dangerous and increase the risk of choking. So you want to make sure that they can sit up properly. Secondly, are they interested in your food? It's important to be eating around them in the months leading up to weaning. So we want them to be aware and familiar with the idea that people generally, we do eat, and it's not a complete shock to the system when you start giving them food. So that's important. And if they're sort of looking around and showing interest, that's a key sign. Next up, can they swallow? That's really important. So obviously, if they can't swallow, that's going to increase their risk of choking. Are they gaining weight or are they not gaining weight? So if they're not gaining weight, then that may be a sign that you need to start weaning earlier. And finally, are they satisfied with their milk? And if you find that they're not really satisfied with their milk anymore, then that might be the time that you want to think about moving them onto food, along if all the other boxes that we've discussed are ticked as well. Weaning can be quite a scary process, but it really doesn't need to be. I've spoken to many mums who find it quite overwhelming. But what I would say is if you are nervous about it, then get ahead, plan. Make sure you know what you're going to give them on every day, and maybe spend a couple of nap times just doing the cooking ahead of time so that you know what to give them. Also remember that there are other options, so you don't have to cook everything from scratch if you just don't have the time or that's not your thing. There are pouches, there are very good baby foods out there, so don't feel like you have to cook everything from scratch. I know there's a lot of pressure nowadays. But yes, I really hope that was helpful, and as always, enjoy feeding your baby.